bye 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 bye.
Bye.
Hey, Ali
Bye. Hey.
Bailey. I
Hey, Jody Raynsford.
I feel as though you weren't particularly enthusiastic about that, partly because you are in a youth hostel, but partly because I imagine you're slightly tired.
Me? No, I'm not tired. I am a little bit tired. I'm very tired. I'm going to be honest. I've had 2 Krispy Kreme donuts for breakfast.
Well, that was a quick conversation.
Yeah. But guess what? We got a guest, a celebrity guest with us.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear any of that because you froze. You had 2 Krispy Kreme donuts for breakfast.
In bed with Lorna Spain, 2
It,
Krispy Kreme donuts.
two each, or were you sharing 2?
We had 2 each, and then we shared one Lady in the Tramp.
Do you feel like you're getting a lot closer to Lorna in a way that perhaps you didn't expect?
I do, except she's quite antisocial.
Oh, what? What? How long has it taken to work that one out? Like,
She's pretty selfish and antisocial, Lorna. She just goes and does her own thing. She's like, I'm not going to sit with. Don't want to have dinner with you or breakfast with any. Dom's come to see her, and he took her away for 2 nights. Her mother-in-law's been to see her, and they took her out for lunch. She just keeps vanishing off to like nice lunches and nice dinners, and like leaving us to eat scraps in youth hostels.
oh, that's good. So we're joined today by the lovely Joe. So Joe,
Hello.
it's quite good actually to have an independent, impartial source on here to verify what Ali is saying, because we know about Ali, she's so inauthentic, and she likes to create this social media beautification of everything, and so I think it's really useful to have someone to kind of give a real sort of this is what's really happening on the challenge. So how are you finding it, Joe, so far? Are you at breaking point?
Pretty much, yes. I think so. And that's not even the running, to
I
be
was going to
honest.
say, is it breaking point because of the running or because of the people?
It's obviously the people. Ali's been lying to you. It's been a terrible, terrible experience. They're all mean. They've bullied
They're
me
all
since day
mean.
one. Oh, hang on. The donuts just fell over. Sorry.
Go on now. I want to hear Joe's version of events.
No, it's been amazing. I'll be honest for a little bit. It's been fantastic from day one. Everyone is amazing, so supportive. It's really hard, really, because I want to slag them off. I want to tell everyone how horrible they are.
I know this doesn't create for much drama or tension. This is like if we were writing a kind of a soap series, this would be terrible. This would be terrible in every way. It all seems so positive. There's got to be some kind of drama that's unfolded.
It does feel like, do you remember 999 with Michael Burke when they used to lay
Yes.
out at the like, it was just a nice family picnic, and then suddenly someone ends up with a spike in their neck or discus in their ear. It feels like that. It feels like something's going to go really badly wrong at some point.
But you're in Scotland now, which isn't Scotland like just about halfway or something, just to kind of give people an idea of, or it's getting closer to the end rather than halfway, but it's still Scotland's actually not that far. It's quite a big chunk.
Okay, so it feels like it was like a proper moment when we got into Scotland. It really was like oh my God, we've run Scotland. But it's 40% of the mileage is in Scotland.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Also a lot of the elevation is in Scotland. But the thing is, I think we all thought we were going to cross the border and run into this green and pleasant land, and we didn't. We ran down the A74M all day yesterday. So yesterday, we were offered an ultimatum I'll call it an ultimatum, by Jimmy C, who's our project manager, and he said you can either go and run a trail route, which is 39 miles, or you can run on the A74M all day for 32 miles. So me and Joe took the trail. I took the trail option, and I positively encouraged Joe to come with me. How did that go for you, Joe? How did those extra miles go?
It was fantastic. I put my headphones in after 10 miles of listening to you and just...
God, take us through that mileage. is the reading between the lines, was the 39 mile, was it longer than 39 miles on the trail, or were those 39 miles a tougher 39 miles than originally expected?
It was 39 miles on the trail, 32 miles on the road, and it was worth it. Personally, I found it worth it because it was. But the thing is, once you got to 21 miles, you're back on the same road as everyone else. So you'd had all this trail, and then suddenly you're thrown onto the motorway, and you're just like, "Are you actually fucking joking?" It was horrible. So I enjoyed it, and I did enjoy it, but I was a bit of a whinger, and poor Joe was the only person there for me to whinge at. So, yeah.
What was she whinging about, Joe? Well, because she's on a trail. She's been doing running every single day, which she loves. So, admittedly, she's around people that she no longer thinks are trying to avoid her, because if you were, you'd be doing a terrible job running with her. So what could she possibly be whinging about at this point?
Do you know what? It was such a nightmare. She got everything she wanted that day. She got lovely trail, bogs, everything you could possibly want, and it just wasn't enough at all.
I love the idea you put your headphones in at 10 miles.
We both did.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Who broached the subject first? Did you know what? This conversation's really good. But I tell you what, I prefer not to have this conversation.
Actually, you're going to hate this because the conversation we were having was, oh my God, this is such an amazing adventure. Isn't everyone so nice? We're having such a great time. Man, can't believe we're in Scotland. There hasn't been any, there really hasn't been any drama, apart from the fact that we have given Joe a nickname that he doesn't really like. And he has accused me on a number of occasions of bullying because I keep calling him Fat Joe.
Oh, see, this is it. This is it, isn't it? There's the person who's going, oh, we're having a wonderful time. And then everyone else going, there's a lot of kind of low-level bullying going on. And it's the bully who's saying, oh, this is wonderful. It's all bants. It's all fun. It's all great.
I'm so glad you agree with me because it is bants, isn't it, Jody? The fact that we call him Fat Joe, it's just a joke, isn't it?
Why are you called Fat Joe? Are you really skinny?
I don't know how it happened. I think someone else told a story about their friend's mum calling them fat or something. And I think it was Lorna who just decided it was me, and it's just escalated.
Is there a hierarchy? Has a hierarchy emerged? As in, who beats down on who?
That's quite an interesting question.
I'd like to hear Joe's opinion of what this is.
I think there's a group decision. They all just beat down on me.
Oh no!
Because he's fat. He deserves it.
They'll set me up. They'll set me up and say, "Oh, have some ice cream for breakfast." I'll eat the ice cream, and then yes, because you're fat.
It feels like we're having an HR exit interview here to make sure that you make sure that you don't take any further action and end up in a tribunal.
We've started just giving him things that are disgusting. Have this cold bit of chicken with some ice cream and a tomato and some lard on it. And he eats it. And we're like, that's because you're fat.
I think we need to give a bit more context here. Okay, Joe, it'd be really good to find out kind of your background coming into this and everything, and your hopes and expectations. We know about Allie's background. She's the 9th, 10th, 3rd greatest runner of all time according to the Guardian. So she's better than all of us. But what were your kind of credentials, previous experience coming into this? It'd be good to kind of set the scene a little bit so we kind of understand.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure I have the credentials coming into this, if I'm honest. I sort of pre-COVID, I'd never even ran marathon distance. So I was training for the first marathon then.
Yeah.
Then COVID happened, cancelled everything. Went and ran a very pleasant marathon on my own in the streets during lockdown.
Yeah.
And then running just became the only thing I did outside of the home. Because obviously working from home, weren't going out for anything else. Mileage just kept going up and up. And then this opportunity, I'll call it an opportunity, came along. And I think lockdown probably was messing with my head at the time. That seemed like a really cool thing to do. Allie made it seem very achievable and fun, which it's proving to be.
Yep.
And so I'd signed up initially, to summer of 2020, which then got postponed till obviously this year. And then I've spent basically the last 2 years building mileage, trying to get some bit more experience, done a few ultras, and just ran a lot over the last really 6 months. I had a lot of injuries last year as well, which didn't help.
Yeah.
So that's really my sort of background to this, really.
And so what? I mean, this is a bit of a weird one. What do you do as a job? Just very curious as to how everyone's managed to get so much time off. Do you work for yourself? Do you have family, etc., etc.?
So no, I work at the University of Bristol.
Okay.
I work in the research development team, so I kind of mentor early career researchers in applying for and finding funding for their research.
So all
Um,
research has stopped while you've gone on this little jolly.
Basically,
I hope you're
yeah.
not researching.
Research.
What, you know what
This
you're
is
researching?
research.
What is being put back 6 weeks by your selfish desire to go for a run?
So I work with the health faculty. So basically, anything to do with health, COVID research, all that, it's all stopped. It's on pause for 5 weeks until I come back.
Obesity research, Joe. Obesity research.
No, I'm continuing that as we go.
Unbelievable.
But it was, yeah, I mean, obviously it's 2 years ago, so I was able to sort of talk to my manager and
Yeah.
organize it all and put things in place and bugger off for 5 weeks.
Okay, and then to get into like this point now. So obviously, I've spoken to Allie right at the start after a couple of weeks. Yeah, how did you find the first few weeks? Was it because that was the kind of the elevation, everything, and those first week or so is insane. So how did you find that? How did your body adapt? How did you kind of mentally find it?
I'd say the first week, the first 3 days were fantastic. I mean, we couldn't have had a better start. It was glorious sunshine, fantastic coastlines. Yeah, we're all running together, all happy at that point. So it went
That
really, really
lasted
well.
3 days.
That lasted
Then the
3
nickname
days.
started.
Yeah, then everyone settled down. True colours started coming out.
Once you were into it, yeah.
Yeah, once it's too late, once we're on the road, that was it. And yeah, and that first week, I think we ended with like a 38-mile day. After 3 days, we all kind of realised that this wasn't going to be the walk in the park we might have thought it was at that point. Then decided to try and keep pace with Lorna for a while on one of the days, which was probably my first mistake, and then got injured a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I've had this same inflamed ankle injury that seems to be affecting most of the group.
The epidemic, the inflamed
the one that the witch gave
the one you were
everybody.
talking about. The witch has given it, right? Okay.
The witch has passed it on to all of us, I think, and which resulted in me walking pretty much from Bridgewater to Bristol on the 7th day, so the end of that really long first week.
Yeah.
Which was a pleasant experience. I have to say, everyone running off in the distance and then me just walking along. But yeah, it's basically just been the most exhausting, hardest, challenging thing I think I've ever done.
Really? I can imagine.
To be honest, though, Joe has, and I'm not blowing smoke up his fat ass, but he.
Is this? Wait a minute. Is this your coping mechanism for being nice to people? It's just that we have to give him an abusive name first in order to.
He's got a nickname, Jody, and his is Fat Joe, and that's it. It's not as bad as Martin's, which is racist Martin for no reason. Racist Mark, and Lorna's, which is Mrs. Robinson. We can go into that later. But Joe's like, I'm fascinated by Joe because he's come from not like lots of multi-day ultra background or not any big ultra background. Literally, like he just said, he hadn't run a marathon before lockdown, and now he's smashing out 35 miles a day on some of the hardest trails and roads in the UK. And the injury, his foot blew up fatter than his whole body, which is amazing, like an elephant man foot. But then, like, he looked after, I don't know, like, you can explain it, Joe, like, how it went away. It went away, and now every day he's, like, getting stronger. And some days he does keep up with Lorna, and I'm like, what is going on with him? He's like a machine.
What's your secret to the fat ankle situation?
Wow, it seems to be run a minimum of 30 miles a day on it until it stops hurting. And also wear the same pair of socks for 6 days in a row.
Lucky socks. Lucky socks are always the answer.
It's the only pair of compression socks I have, so the physio suggested that I try them. Well, the physio suggested I try not running first, but that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So I only had the one pair of socks. I wore them literally for 6 days, and the ankle got better and better during the week. So they're obviously doing something. I'm very popular in the shared rooms on an evening as I waft these socks around the place. But yeah, it's just really weird. I mean, obviously the medics have had a look and kind of prodded me in, not being able to extract any pain. So it's been a very strange injury.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just seems to ease the more I run on it for some reason. Very odd.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's exactly what you want in this situation, isn't it? It's just going to last. I mean, if you can't walk again after this finishes, it doesn't matter. You've completed this now.
Yeah, and no one cares. So
And
that's
then
good.
what about food? How has that been, Joe? Like, how have you been? I know that you're going to make some joke now about being fat, Ali, but like, what has been your? Have you had a go-to food? Have your eating habits changed? Have you all of a sudden found something that you think, I don't know why I really need this or I crave this, but this is something that I can't live without now?
Well, bizarrely, I just seem to be able to eat anything and everything there is, and I've been attempting to do so, which isn't helping with the jokes, to be honest. But it's, we've gone, share a desserts for one.
We can order these massive desserts, Jody, that are like for 4 people in pubs that are like £12 each, and eating the whole thing on our own.
But it's ridiculous because you can't eat enough food. No. It doesn't matter. I mean, in all honesty, I think I probably have lost at least a stone up to this point.
Really?
And
wow.
And I'm literally, I'm not struggling. I'm having a fried breakfast in the morning. I'm eating everything I can at checkpoints. I'm having 3-course dinners in the evening. I'm sticking to whole foods rather than gels and things. And yeah, it just, the amount of running is crazy, and it's just, everything is just burning off.
And how is, we've had some like exceptionally hot weather. Like how has that been? How has it been coping? Especially like since I spoke to you, Ali. I think we had one day that was thunder, lightning, rain, or a couple of days like that. But the rest of it has been absolutely scorching. Has it been the same for you on the route that you've been following?
It's been pretty warm, I think, most days. That my sunburnt ears probably suggest that it's been very hot. I do keep forgetting to put the suntan cream on. I've been slapped in the head with it quite a lot.
I just imagine that Lorna, I would picture Lorna doing putting the sun cream on, like when you get, when you send the kids to school, you've got to put the sun cream on, and everyone going, oh, I don't really want to do it, I don't want to do it. And then someone like Lorna going, you will bloody do it, otherwise you're going to end up in hospital with severe burns, or something like that. Like, did she not do that? I'd have thought that was a Lorna job.
Lorna only cares about herself, so she's only doing herself. She doesn't. Lorna loves everyone. But I've been tasked with doing his ears, Joe's ears, by his missus, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it when I'm slapping him around the head with factor 50. But everyone's actually, Lorna has been doing my back and stuff. Everyone's been really good at checkpoints, reminding each other and stuff. But we haven't had blazing sunny days. We've had muggy days, and like yesterday when we were the trail dogs, we had the midges following us, which was I couldn't work out if it was Joe's socks or what it was, but they were all around our heads, and it was horrible. And one got in my eye, and it was, so that's something. But it's just been really, really muggy. And also, despite having experience of running in all weathers, none of us know how to get dressed in the morning. So like you'll end up 10 minutes down the path and taking off all your clothes because it's too hot.
Yeah.
We haven't had those blazing
but
days.
Muggy's almost worse, isn't it? If there's a little bit of humidity and stuff. I mean, like, are people, is anyone suffering from like really horrific blisters or anything like that? Has everyone kind of been okay?
There's been the daily taping up of blisters, mainly in the first 2 weeks. I mean, I think at one point I had 4 or 5 toes being taped daily just to keep the blisters under control.
Yeah.
But that seems to have, for me anyway, seems to have sorted itself out. So
what, in the sense that you've just left the tape on and hoping for the best?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They've like melted into gnarled hooves, so now all our feet are like cloven hooves. But there's a lot of what's that word? We've all forgotten how to speak as well. Where you get used to something. Conditioning. I think there's a lot of conditioning going on, and we've got some people in the group who have got injuries that have meant they've had to take time off. Like Ross, he ended up in A&E last week with a suspected fracture. And then they were like, it's not a fracture, but it is bad. And he's basically physioed himself over the last week, walking a little bit more every day. And then yesterday did like most of the route yesterday, walking it. And then next week he's in physio now, seeing what the man says. But people that have been coming and going with their injuries, I feel like those injuries aren't going to heal as quickly as people that have kind of kept going. But we're taking physio advice. So if the physio says don't, or the doctor says don't, people don't, because they obviously don't want to end up not being able to walk. But with Joe's, honestly, I looked at Joe's ankle and was like, he's going to be out for a few days because that is gargantuan. It's bigger than his fat head. But it just went down. It's just stopped.
He's got some secret. You've got some secret drugs on you, haven't you? Like, what are you? Where did you get it? What did you get? Why aren't you sharing it? I think that's the question.
At one point, I was begging the medics for more drugs, but I've been on paracetamol and a bit of codeine. But I have a bit of ibuprofen cream on the leg, which I'm still doing just because I'm superstitious and I won't change.
And rubbing a strawberry on the leg. Don't forget to rub the strawberry.
I mean, superstition, it must play. Has there been any other superstition rearing its head at this point? It's a very powerful tool. Worries about.
I picked up a ram's head that I found in the field, a dead ram's head, and I put it in the van, and I believe I've awoken a demon. So that day that you had thunder and lightning, I think that's what that was. But I think the demon's on the side of Joe's
side. The God High Priestess persona, you're really stepping into it.
Yeah, I'm going to make it into a hat, and I'm going to wear it on Dragon's back on my head. But also, one day I had a sore hamstring, so I rubbed the strawberry on the hamstring, and then I ate the strawberry, and it seemed to work. So I've been doing that, rubbing strawberries on people and then eating them. And I found a rock with a little flower on it, so I rubbed that on someone's leg yesterday, and it got better. And that's all the superstitions.
So, Joe, how annoying is Allie at this point to everyone else?
Completely. We're all so happy that she runs off into the distance and we all walk slowly and let her make some miles up first.
It's like it was the worry. I mean, do you still have the worry, Ali, that people are trying to avoid you, or has that passed?
100%. But now I've got the skull of Barramundi. They dare not be horrible to me because I will put a curse on them. No, I still have that actually, but I don't really know what to say about that because it makes me sound like I'm insane. But maybe it's true. I don't know. I still have that issue.
Is everyone still teetotal?
Pretty much.
And who is officially the most annoying person on the route so far? I imagine that different people take over as being annoying, but who at the current time is being particularly annoying? You're thinking of someone because you're smiling while you're saying it.
No, I'm trying to think because the only person I can think that was annoying isn't here anymore.
It's difficult though because we do spend quite a lot of time actually running on our own during the day, so it's not that annoying because everyone's disappeared. Lorna disappears into the distance and you don't see her all day.
People are annoying for different reasons. Lorna's annoying because she is doing 7.5-minute miles every day and finishing, having a shower or a bath, a massage, phoning Dom, going back to Dartmoor, coming back before we've even got to the end. And then Ross is annoying because he's so cheerful and happy all the time and he wears fun shorts and he's amazing. And Amanda is annoying because she's coping with her injury super, super well. And then when she does come out and run, she's as quick as Lorna. That's annoying. Joe is annoying because he's fat. Martin's annoying because he, again, is just very, very nice and always smiley. The annoying thing is nobody is actually a dick. So there's nothing to really pick on. You know how sometimes at this point you're like, oh, actually, I really don't like that thing about that person. Honest to God, there isn't any of that. I probably wouldn't say it because they're all listening to this podcast. But they all know that it's true. They all know it's true. I've never been in a group situation for this long where there hasn't been a little bit of tension between two people.
That is really unusual. That is really unusual. But then I do think a lot of it is based on the fact that you said that everyone's like a do-badder and everyone was on the same page before doing it. Normally with a lot of with these type of things, you've got lots of people coming from different backgrounds, some of who you don't even know, with lots of different motivations, and you've had kind of a couple of years to kind of get used to it.
The other thing we've noted is how like a cult it actually is, because we are told what to do every day by James, and we do it, and no one's ever late. And if people, eat your breakfast, pack your bag, put your bag in the car, this, do that, get up at this time, go to bed at this time, and we're all like, there's unwritten rules we all just live by. It's a bit weird, like me and Joe were talking about it yesterday, and it is kind of odd how quickly we've become ingratiated in cult life.
That's good, though.
We can't function in real life.
But what was running on your own something that you were prepared for, Joe? Like, this amount of running on your own, or did you think it was going to be different? And how have you kind of mentally cope with it, or was it difficult, or does it suit you down to the ground?
I do a lot of running on my own generally, so it's not something that bothers me in that respect. I think I always thought this was going to be a team event. Like we were doing this as a group, not as individuals, even though it was obviously very challenging individually. So I think I probably expected maybe a little bit more running together, which we probably did more in the first week when we were all fresh, injury free, still liking each other, that sort of thing. But I think that there's been days when it's been really difficult, and you sometimes just have to have a word with yourself and just realize that we've chosen to do this. No one's forcing us to get out of that van in the morning and run. So we're pretty privileged actually to be out here doing this. So just reminding yourself.
There are days.
Yes,
really
you
hard.
lucky bastards. You.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are days, Joe, where it's super hard.
I'm sat working and thinking about you lucky sods just running in the length of the country. What is the we talked about environmental factors before. What trouble on route? Have you had any massive dickheads? Any areas that you would recommend never visiting? Any areas that you think, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I never knew this part of Wales was nice, or I never knew that this part of Warrington was gorgeous.
Last week, we went through, in one day, Warrington, Runcorn, Wigan, Preston, the big four white van man hotspots.
Do you get a lot of chips? Chip naans?
Mate,
chip naans?
Well, I told you about this last time when we had people hollowing out of vans and all that, and that was pretty hardcore. And then the last 2 days have been really a lot of road running on big, horrible roads, so that's been... But now, we're in Glasgow, and tonight, at 5:15, we're going to the cinema, so anything could happen. But no, we haven't really had any dickheads, have we, Joe, apart from each other?
Not major. I had a farmer try and convince me that the route was not a route, it was a cow path, because that's a thing apparently.
Cow
but
path?
Other than that, yeah, the cows always walk in a line and create their own path through a field. But other than that, no.
The cow path.
Everyone's been very lovely and supportive and surprised when we tell them what we're doing.
I love the idea of going to A&E, and then they said, so what exactly have you done to cause this? And then the look on their face must just be brilliant. Unless, of course, this is a point at which loads of people who do Le Jog end up, and they're just going, oh, not another one, not another Le Jogger.
Do you know what we're all really interested in at the moment? This bloke who's doing Le Jog, Mitch. What's his name?
Mitch Holm. I think his name is.
Who's doing Le Jog and trying to break the record, but he's not on Strava and he's not being tracked. He's just doing it all on video camera. So we'd quite like the do-badders to do an investigation into this, because we're kind of watching it like he's never run a marathon or something. He's like really green. And we're all like, all right, mate. Because the thing is, now we're horrible to other runners. We look out the van window at someone going for a run. We're like, going for a run, are you, mate? We're horrible. Because...
You've become a proper running club, it seems.
Yeah.
You've become an actual running club, or possibly a cycling club, judging other people. Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a little bit of judgment there. But we're the arseholes, basically, and everybody else is nice.
My favourite is when someone says they're tired. And you've never been tired until you
don't know what tired means.
Exactly.
What have we got coming up then so how many days have you got left? What does that look like, both in terms of amount of trail, elevation, route?
Well, we have 2 weeks left, but we haven't actually seen the route yet. It's being hidden from us.
Keeping it secret.
Ooh.
But we've got today off, then we leave tomorrow. We've got to go backwards and run to Glasgow, and then we've got about 2 or 3 days road running, and then we get into Scotlandia, and then we're running all the way along the side of Loch Ness, up towards Inverness, and then we go up from there. So this coming weekend, we're doing the West Highland Way. We've got 3 days to do the West Highland Way on a weekend in June. So it should go on to trail. But the thing is, now we're in Scotland, it's really, time is weird when you're doing this, because in the morning, so when you're running, you'll say, oh, me and Joe talked about this yesterday, but actually it was in the morning. It seems the days seem really long, but also time goes really quick, super quick. Yeah. So we're like, oh, we've only got 2 weeks left. That's not very long. And we're all panicking about what happens at the end when we have to leave the cult's bubble. But really, 2 weeks is long, because the days are long. It's just the weirdest time-space continuum on Earth. It's like it's just completely bizarre. But yeah, we've got a lot of elevation coming up for the West Highland Way. Amanda just told me it's 15,000 feet or something, but it's over 95 miles, so it's insidious. We've got lots of adventures still to come. But I don't know how you feel, Joe, but do you feel like you're kind of home and dry and it's all going to be okay? You're going to make it? Nothing bad's going to happen?
It did. When we crossed into Scotland, and obviously it was a big moment, we were messing about taking photos and videos and things. It did feel like we're done almost. It's a kind of victory lap now into the finish, which is an interesting way to look at 400 odd miles still to run.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny because it seems like, just from what you've been saying, and actually I think this is a feeling that most people get when they do big adventures, even if it's a multi-day of a few days or something like this. But there's kind of an optimism at the start that then kind of, which is almost like a blend of a little bit of ignorance as well. Like we're happily ignorant as to how ridiculous it's going to be, and then there's a kind of a slow kind of realization that this is hard, and then after a couple of weeks it kind of goes, yeah, we can do this, we absolutely can do this, and then you get to that point, where it's really clear you're going to finish it. And I think even people when they do like MDS and stuff like that, I think it's always like the day before the long day or something that they think, oh, this is, I don't know if I can do this, or the end of the second day. Yeah, there's always a point at which people think, oh, I'm not sure I can do this, but then you overcome that barrier, and
but
the rest of it is just simple.
All it takes is the roll of an ankle or stupid stuff like kicking your bunk in the hostel or dropping a bag on your foot. Like yesterday, I had an absolutely horrific day with my stomach. I don't know what happened, but when I got on that road, it went all arc of attrition, and I cried. I felt completely low on energy. I was retching into a drain on the motorway. And I was like, I can't, if I was in any other situation, I'll pull out of this. I can't do it. Then I woke up this morning and felt absolutely fine. And today, literally feel like I could go for a jog. I'm not going to, because that's a knobby thing to do, and I need to not do it. But that home and dry thing, I'm like, you just have to do every single day as it comes, because anything can happen. Like anything, like your little flare-ups can happen again, or a tiny little insignificant thing can blow up really quickly. So, and we don't know what's coming. I think that's one of the things that makes the days kind of go quite quick, is that you don't really know what's coming. You've got the route, but you've not been there before, so it's like all exciting, and you're like, oh, what will I see today? We had a deer jump out in front of us yesterday, me and Joe, literally jump out on the road in front of us and then sprint off, and we've seen rabbits and buzzards and all sorts of stuff. And so that makes it really, like, quite exciting. But I think the home and dry thing is a real dangerous thing to get into, because it's not home and dry. We've got a really fucking long way to go.
Have there been any like serious kit malfunctions? What's the kit situation be? Has everything kind of held up, or has anyone gone like, oh, my backpack fell apart, or anything else like that?
Flasks.
Flasks.
Yeah.
I've punctured 2 flasks so far.
Oh, really?
Which was, I'm not sure how. And then I was running with like basically electrolytes all over my shirt, trying to sort of soak them in rather than ingest them as a new method. Didn't really work.
Some of the other new methods. Me and Joe
lots of experimentation going on en route as well.
Yeah, instead of drinking electrolytes, rub the powder into your breath. It'll just go straight in. But to be fair, UD are delivering us new flasks today. I've been trying to wear the same pair of shoes for the whole event. I've got 650 miles in, and I've had to stitch them because they ripped on a rock. And then I looked at the bottoms of them, and they're park claws, so the road has just completely smashed them to bits. So I'm going to have to start my second pair of shoes. But really, no, everyone's kit's held together pretty well. I think we're doing all right.
And so, did you say that someone has left?
Oh, we're talking about crew. We're not talking about.
Oh, crew.
runners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
like the crew. Okay.
We've had the best crew this week as well. Jules and Jax, who are just. We would come in.
Does it swap every week or every couple of weeks? Oh,
swaps
okay.
every week, because they just get exhausted with us, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they memorise what everybody has at their pit stops, and you get in. I have a Mountain Fuel shake with a little shot of espresso in it, and they're just standing there with it like you're Mo Farah, and they're like, sit down, have your shake. Like, they were just so lovely, and so we're a little bit sad they've gone, and then we've got new crew coming this week. But yeah, crew swaps every week, because they get as knackered as we do. Or they say they do, fucking pussies, but so horrible. But yeah, there hasn't really been any malfunctions with kit. Everyone's kind of I think everyone's using Ultimate Direction bags. There's been a lot of shoe swap outs and that sort of thing. But
so let me get this right. Okay, so you've done the route. The route is great and wonderful. All the relationships are pretty good. Injuries people have had but are overcoming them. You haven't had any issues with environmental factors. The weather's not played a massive part. Everyone is now very confident that they're going to finish. I hope in the last couple of weeks you're going to do something that's going to actually turn this into some kind of interesting drama, because at the moment it's all fucking like rainbows and lights at the moment, and unicorns and fluffy. It'd be good if you get to like John O'Groats and it's not there anymore, or something like that. Or
we were thinking we'd get there, and
Russia
that's when Putin.
War.
Yeah, Putin
exactly. That's when the moment the missile hits.
We could talk to someone because we've had people like Ross, Rachel, and Amanda have been really injured, and they've been on and off for the last 2 weeks. So it might be interesting to talk to them about their experience. But they haven't put their misery on any of us.
Injured people, though.
They haven't put their misery on us.
Yeah.
They're very, very up still, and they're very like, look, this journey is just a little bit different for us. There isn't any misery, and I've had my own personal misery, and I don't know if Joe's had his own personal misery. Lorna will put her headphones on and shoot off, and she's like. And she said to me last night when our pillow talk, when we were laying in bed, she's like, I cried yesterday because I hated it. But I don't see that. Like, I'm very emotional and I'm very, did you know, I'm very open about my emotions. So I will just say to people, I feel like shit. I feel awful. This is rubbish. But it's happened twice or 3 times. Yesterday was a bad day. Jay, like, how have you felt about it? Like, has there been times where you've been like, fuck this, I don't want to do it anymore? Or, like,
yeah, there's been plenty of times like that. It's mostly, like you say, when you're out, it gets in your head. I mean, I've been looking at people as we've been running going, these are really good runners. What am I doing here? Why am I here? And you start doubting yourself. You start thinking, this is hard. I'm tired. I've just had enough. And yeah, there's been those moments, and it's usually when you're on your own. But then something picks you up. I mean, I was on that day, I walked to Bristol. You know, it was awful. And I come into the checkpoint, and I having the worst day in the world. Amanda laughed at me because I was basically throwing a strop, and she just said it was the most hilarious thing she's seen, which didn't help much at the time, but it's that kind of.
He's in the fetal position crying. She's pointing and laughing and kicking.
Pretty much.
Get up, fatty. Get up.
But that's sort of the thing that's dragging you on. It's that group support in a way. It's not all lovey-dovey. Oh, how are you? Arm around the shoulders. Although sometimes that happens as well. But it is that kind of banter and sort of guessing you up and forgetting about the crap that's going on and pushes you on.
It is really a group thing. And like yesterday, Martin got out of his. So I came in and I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And Martin got up and gave me a cuddle. And he's never ever like done that before. He didn't even ask if I wanted a cuddle. He just gave me a cuddle. And I was like, thank you. I did really need that. And there's a lot of people being able to read each other. I mean, we are a very special group of people in that we all get on really well, and we were picked to get on. You know, we made sure there was no one in here that we thought would be an issue, but it's been the next level, like, experience when it comes to bonding. I just feel like we'll all be friends forever. There won't be, you know how you say that and then 3 people in the group never speak to each other again, but I don't feel like that's how it'll be.
You're getting tattoos at the end. Have you decided?
We've literally talked about it. We've literally talked about it.
What, you're saying you're all getting tattoos at the end?
Yeah.
Is that the kind of discussion?
We have talked about it.
I want to go back to this idea of Lorna crying. Have you seen her cry, or did she just say she cried? Because I don't think it's possible.
I've seen her cry.
You've seen her cry?
I saw her cry in the Hebrides. It was a long time. Did you see her cry?
I saw her cry on this day. It was the traumatic cow incident day. It was the final checkpoint. She broke down, basically. Asking for a cheese sandwich, I think.
Oh my God, bloody cheese sandwiches.
I mean, she does talk a lot of shit. Yesterday morning, for example, we camped last night, the night before last. I'm going to really take it easy today. I'm just going to walk it in. And I just looked at her and said, bollocks. And she did it in like 4.5 hours.
It's like she's playing her mind games. She's playing her mind games, is she?
Yeah, she's playing her mind games.
I was running with her one day, keeping pace for about 4 miles, I think I could manage. And at one point she put her headphones in. And afterwards I found out, she said, all I could hear was you panting in my ear, so I put the headphones in to shut you up.
She's ruthless. She's absolutely ruthless. But Dom turned up the other day and I felt like he was giving her a pep. Dom turned up and I came in before her that day And I felt like I'd shown her up, and Dom took her away to a secret hideout, and then she came back the next day and absolutely smashed it. It's like he's like, focus, Lorna, focus.
Focus, I don't ever want to see that again.
That was absolutely disgusting.
You have sullied the Spain brand.
Yeah,
we are
exactly.
never getting the deals we're looking for with that.
She is absolutely, and this is the great thing about Run Britannia. All of us have had a different training experience, completely different. Joe did 1,000 miles before we'd even got here, like in that year, like I did with the slam. Lorna had been really consistent, like 3 miles a day consistently, but only 3. And she's had injuries, but she has just motored on the whole way through. So it's really, I just think it's brilliant that people can see that it's not like we've all followed the same training plan.
Yeah.
We're not all the same person. We're all very different, but everybody's cracking on with it. And I think that's probably quite inspiring, because it's not, it's not like some sort of, we've done this weird training camp. And
what it would be interesting is when it's finished, like, would there be a kind of a consensus on what will be the best way to both train, prepare, and everything, or will it be clear that actually that there will never be one way of doing it? Because I imagine you're going to be the one that's called upon to dish out this advice to future.
I think we'll all be called upon to do it, to be honest, and I think I'll make sure that everyone is called upon, because I believe in my heart of hearts that consistency is the key, and being really, really consistent and getting your body used to trails and roads, and being consistent in your strength and conditioning, and not having to run 20 miles a day, but being consistent in your 50-mile weeks and maintaining yourself. That's how, and Lorna's shown that because she's been consistent, and Joe's shown that because he's been consistent. And it's just really what you're used to. But also, you've got Rachel, who's menopausal, completely different to me, like 9 years older than me. She's going through a completely different period in her life. You've got Amanda, who's much younger, but has come from a track background. So she runs on the front of her feet, never puts her heels down, is used to it going fast. So and when she gets injured, she's got injuries from when she was a track runner. Then you've got Martin, who's a very, very fast walker. I've never seen anyone walk that fast. He can just go all day. He won't be the fastest, but he'll get it done. And then Ross's injury is something that can literally happen to anybody. And Ross has got a good pedigree. He's done the Arc-Nutrition, he's done a lot of 100-milers. So it's all just really interesting, mashing it all together and looking at how different people are. But I think the most important thing is none of us have just come from park runs. Like, we've all done a few long things. And
so that's the next thing to test. The next people that do Run Britannia, the only preparation they could have done is like 10 park runs or something.
Yeah, the Wigan runner as a celebrity guest. He's consistent. Maybe he'll make it. I don't know.
The thing is, he could do all this and he'd still only raise about 30 quid for his dodgeball team, even with this.
Oh my God, we had this woman come up to us at a rest stop the other week. She's like, "What are you doing?" And so we told her, and she went, "Are you raising money for charity?" And we went, "No." And she went, "Why not?" And I went, "Because we're on like a test pilot thing." She went, "Well, you're just wasting your time then," and walks off.
She's right. She's kind of right, isn't she?
You're like, oh.
Joe is putting back research thousands and thousands of years by taking this little holiday, and you are denying children, other desperately in need groups by not getting sponsorship. This is incredibly selfish. This whole
I feel ashamed.
Run Britannia is Latin for selfish.
It is. A shame. Joe's a shame.
Well, I tell you what, the way that you're still, it looks absolutely incredible again on social media. I've yet to see a picture, a photo of you retching into a drain.
Hey,
I was hoping to.
I shat in someone's front garden in Carlisle the other week. So.
Please, if there's a reel of that, I'd like to see it. I wouldn't.
There isn't. I was scared.
That'll be the aim. That's the aim for week 4.
Yeah, Joe's going to be behind me the whole time with a camera, waiting for me to go into someone's front garden.
That's what we really want to see. That's what. Or an Aldi car park, or a little car park. That's the aim. Yeah. Well, amazing. It sounds just wonderful. It sounds like I'm sure there's loads of people who are going to sign up for this like right away once you. No, there's not. I won't. We're going to put them off. No. But yeah. Congratulations so far, and massive good luck for the easy last couple of weeks. The victory lap, as it's known as. charity stage, or whatever we're going to call it now.
Basically, we've all just turned into like these massive Marvel characters, and now it's going to be fine. I'll be very interested to see how we feel next weekend, because I think we'll be very emotional and very like, oh my God, this is it. This is the last week. It's just a really interesting journey. But I'll tell you what it is. It's the adventure of a lifetime. It's when you do get to those real horrible lows, you're like Joe said, I'm so privileged to be able to do this with support and not run along those roads. One day on those roads is bad enough. Can you imagine running 75 miles a day for 12 days? No. And I would honestly recommend this, that anyone that's ever wanted to do this really have a good look at it, because it's definitely achievable. I reckon a year's worth of training and consistency, you'd be up for it. And it is the adventure of a lifetime. And if you get the right people, you'll just make friends for life. It's just amazing. I'm really sorry there's nothing that I can say that is really exciting. Like, there's a misogynist in the group, but there isn't.
Well, at least there's a racist. That's good, even if he's not really a racist.
Yeah, he hates that. A racist fluffer.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for sparing time. That's obviously cutting into your physio and or donut eating.
Yeah.
And let's catch up at the end.
Okay, I love you.
All right then. See you
Thank you
later.
very much.
Good to meet you,
Bye.
Joe. See you later.
And you. Bye.
Bye.